For Dr. Tedros and Bill Gates, pandemic and climate change share a very different connection. Both are useful pretexts for mass social control. Both are essentially unsolvable crises they can harness to bypass democracy and force powerless populations to obey their commands. Now it makes sense. Ever wondered why our leaders consider the coronavirus a major public health crisis, but not, say, suicides and drug ODs? Well, this is why. When a 26-year-old mother in New Hampshire drops dead from fentanyl, Bill Gates and Dr. Tedros don't get more powerful. Her death is useless to them. So they don't care. If you actually wanted to improve people's lives, you would look at things very differently, and you would probably reach very different conclusions. For Dr. Tedros and Bill Gates, pandemic and climate change share a very different connection. Both are useful pretexts for mass social control. Both are essentially unsolvable crises they can harness to bypass democracy and force powerless populations to obey their commands for mass social control. Both are essentially unsolvable crises they can harness to bypass democracy and force powerless populations to obey their commands. Pandemic and climate change share a very different connection. Both are useful pretexts for mass social control. Both are essentially unsolvable crises they can harness to bypass democracy and force powerless populations to obey their commands. Drawing, no. For Dr. Tedros and Bill Gates, pandemic and climate change share a very different connection. Both are useful pretexts for mass social control. Both are essentially unsolvable crises they can harness to bypass democracy and force powerless populations to obey their commands. Now it makes sense.
Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praise and glory goes to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Now first, he said that they said it was going to be 2 weeks and the curve would get to a point with the disease or virus and then it would be over. Then that never happened. Then they said, okay, if we get a vaccine, then we'll go back to normal. Now they saying that's not what is going to happen. So everything that they say, they change after a period of time of waiting for what they say come to pass. And that takes me to Psalm 64. Verse 2, it say, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. You see, we knew that was the secret counsel of the wicked. We knew they was giving us something to hold us off so they can come up with another excuse, because we was already under attack by the secret counsel of the wicked. We was already in anticipation. The verse go on to say, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. See, we seen the insurrection approaching. So we already knew it was being secret counsel was going on and they was ready to attack. Because we jump down to verse 4 of Psalm 64. Verse 4 say, they that may shoot in secret at the perfect. Once we realized we had gotten to a perfect state of remembering ourselves and what was required of us, and we was doing the requirements, we knew that the wicked would start their secret council and start planning on how to have an insurrection. And so what Tucker is bringing out is, this is the plan. This is the plan for the insurrection. And they talking about climate change, but it's not about climate change. That's just another benchmark or another excuse they coming up with to shoot at the perfect, to come against the Israelites, the faithful law-abiding Israelites, the elect with their insurrection to try to control powerless. See, they see the elect as powerless sheep, sheep led away to the slaughter. You see, helpless sheep. So we can go in and we can use this so-called crisis to control this powerless population, which we know to be the most powerful population on the earth. But at this point, they are powerless. And this is what is going on, because at first in their mind is, and like in verse 5, we still in Psalm 64. Verse 5 say they encourage themselves in an evil manner. See, this whole situation is an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. So you laying traps. The whole operation is laying traps. Many traps is involved in the situation. Not just this crisis, it's all other stuff going on around it. They say, who shall see them? You see, they think Tucker bringing a little bit of it out. You know, he touching on it, but he's speaking in code too. He not coming direct. He acting like he's just these two individuals, the WHO man and Bill Gates. When Bill Gates is the he the arm of the elites, but at the same time, it's even bigger than that. But they think they're doing all this in secret. When you get to verse 6, it says they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them dragon, and the heart or the mind of this dragon is very deep. You see. And so verse 7 say, but God shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly they shall be wounded. So how is he going to shoot at them? With individuals like Tucker, you see, who think he going to talk in code, and the real people ain't going to understand. With all type of people who's exposing these dragons from their own nation. God is controlling their minds and their mouth. And so in verse 8, it says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and that all that see them shall flee away from them. You see, as soon as you see these dragons hit the scene, you ready to run as fast as you can and get away. You ready to reject anything they got going on, because now you done heard another dragon expose another dragon. Yahweh Shah, who they even call Jesus Christ, say, if Satan is go against Satan, how can his kingdom stand? And that's just from knowing the scriptures. Yahweh Shah knew that the wicked would try to secretly plan an insurrection on the Israelites. Then when you go into the climax of the situation, Esdras, when you look at Esdras, he break it down, the climax, that these dragons is planning an insurrection like they did when we was under captivity in Rome, when the Romans was ruling. They planned an insurrection. We were surrounded by the Roman soldiers, and they came through with an insurrection and started slaughtering people and dragging people off into slavery. Now, when you go to 2 Esdras, let's see here. 2 Esdras chapter 16, and you get all the way to the climax, verse 70. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. You see in verse 2 of Psalm 64, it says that from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. So that's the workers of iniquity is these Edomite government officials that's planning on the insurrection. And you got all types of individuals involved. That's why the Lord can easily make them fall upon their own tongue, or make their tongue fall upon themselves, because you can't make everybody don't keep quiet about the operation that's going down, about the insurrection that's about to go down. You can't make everybody hush their mouth. So that's what's going on. You got Tucker exposing them. You got other people exposing them. You got them exposing themselves, because the Lord is shooting an arrow at them. And see, that's what also Yahushua, who they even call Jesus Christ, when you look at 2Thessalonians, he also breaking them down in another way. You go to 2Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8, it say, and then shall that wicked, you see, he said the wicked would be trying to get this insurrection popping. He said, then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And his mouth is given to us the understanding of this Bible to know who we need to be analyzing and watching what they doing, because they moving in secret. You see, that's why in verse 9 it said, even him whose coming is after the workings of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. So we know we need to be watching the wicked and know who the wicked is, and examining their words, and examining the signs and the workings that they got going on. You see, we're not looking for some mysterious or thinking that some mysterious powerful angel somewhere is operating. No, we looking for the real wicked. And Malachi chapter 1 verse 4 in Malachi let you know who the wicked is, the nation of Edom. Point blank, period. So anybody on that team, we already scrutinizing their moves. And the insurrection is the whole operation, just like in 70 AD when they came into the homeland and started this war. All praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rekakadash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. The kingdom is at hand. Shalom.